Shabbos. This week we are witness to once again a terrible event in Highland Park, Chicago, where a gunman shoots 7 people at a parade. Highland Park is a very Jewish area. Indeed, 4 of the 7 victims were Jewish. That's family. Every life lost is terrible. And these events are happening more and more frequently, it seems. And what's the response? What can be a response? Now, there's many responses in the political arena. I'm not going to get into that. But I want to give you a uniquely Jewish response. The Pasha this week, we speak about Moshe Rabbeinu hitting the rock. Now, I'm not going to get into the hitting of the rock, but the very fact that God asked that the water come from a rock, which is strange. If you have no water, normally you pray and there's rain. Why don't you ask for rain? Why hitting a rock? Why should there be water coming from a rock? What's the message of that? In next week's Torah portion, Parshas Balak, the first prophecy of Bilam, who came to curse the Jewish people. And the first message that he gives of why he can't curse the Jewish people. He says, I see them from the tops of rocks. And it's a reference, our sages tell us, to our forefathers. They come from such strong foundations of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, that I cannot curse them. That's what Bilam's saying. Because of where they come from and the strength that they have, I cannot curse them. So the rock is a reference to the strength of our faith and commitment to Hashem. It is this strength that has kept us going and enabled us to deal with incredible challenges throughout the ages. Now, let me share with you one. This week, we're going to celebrate Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz. Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz is the day that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was released from Soviet imprisonment, to where he was put in because of his spreading of Yiddishkeit. He was placed in arrest because of that, and this happened 95 years ago. He was released from prison in 1927. He was in prison then and released. Now, when the communists took over, their main goal, many of them at least, was to destroy religion, and Judaism in particular. And many Jews, because of that, left Russia. Many rabbis and yeshivas all picked up and left. We cannot live in this environment. They ran away. And the previous Rebbe, Rabbi Yitzchak Schneerson, said he's not going because he needs to be there to safeguard and to help Jews. They won't know when Rosh Hashanah is. They won't be able to have a bris. They won't have a mikvah. I need to be here to fight for the Jewish people. The communists try to stop everything. The mikvahs were closed. It's not sanitized enough. The bris is barbaric. The shchita is not the best way to slaughter animals. Every child has to go to school on Shabbos, and they're educated that there is no God. That was their focus, and this is what had to be. Fought against by the Rebbe and his Chassidim. And something remarkable happened 100 years ago. In 1922, the Rebbe took 9 Chassidim, and together with him was a minyan, and they made a pact. They said, they committed to each other. They made a covenant that they're going to fight for Judaism, to continue to teach children, to have a bris, to go to mikvah, to do all the mitzvot that you're able to do until their last drop of blood. And nothing that could be done will stop them from being able to continue in this path. Some of them paid with their life. Some survived. But that is what caused the fire of Torah and Judaism to continue. It is that pact, the commitment they made, that did that. And when they were taken sometimes and interrogated and tortured, They didn't say a word. They wouldn't reveal another chassid, another Jew who was involved in these counter-revolutionary activities. They were solid as rocks. And their faith and their strength and their commitment to each other enabled Judaism to still continue as embers under the surface, which then, with the perestroika, with the opening, was able to be sprout forth. This is incredible, but this is the true of the Jewish people. And that's why we're here today, because we had, our forefathers had faith as a rock, and so too we did. And that's what keeps us going, that strength. Maybe that's why the Torah, that's why the water had to come from a rock. Water is Torah. But in order for Torah to be true, in order for Torah, in other words, to be kept regardless, there has to be a strong commitment and faith that allows it to permeate our entire being, and to be that we hold steadfast regardless of the challenges that come around us. Now, we don't have those kind of challenges today, but we have other challenges. And if we can communicate to our children a faith in Hashem, a knowledge on the truth in all the principles of Judaism, and that is something that they go with, that's going to keep them strong. In 1981, the Rebbe spoke about the fact that how is it that students attack their teachers? It is because God was taken out of the schools. And that's what's led to the situation today of all these terrible shootings. And because a person goes and shoots innocent people who doesn't even know, because there's no concept of a higher being looking and seeing every act you do. They have a responsibility to God. And if we could communicate a faith in Hashem, a strong faith to our children, that's going to keep them strong. That's going to be able to allow them to retain the values that we want to teach them, because the values have to be based on the strength, the rock of our faith in Hashem. Good Shabbos.